This week on JW Fusion, we're going to be talking about the power of preparation.
Preparation helps when you are going to experience change. And what is always constant in life?
Change.
So we're going to talk about different ways to be prepared.
Yes, preparation is essential.
Yes.
You're a queen of preparation.
Yes, I have to be.
You are. And I am about certain things, but other things not so much. But we're going to talk about that this week on JW Fusion. Stay tuned.
Blowing in from the Windy City, it's time for JW Fusion with your hosts, James and Wendy B.
Welcome to this week's broadcast of JW Fusion. I am your co-host, James H. Carpenter Barnes, and I'm here with my lovely wife, my beautiful co-host, Wendy B.
Hey, babe.
I like that necklace.
Thank you.
You know, you wear some nice things.
I try. I gotta keep. I gotta stay right.
You're very good
You
at
get
that.
them, but you gotta keep them.
Not only, and you write so much. You're dressed nice. You're just, oh my gosh, you just a jewel.
Well, praise God.
I'm glad you belong to me.
I do.
I'm sorry.
Solely.
I'm glad you belong to me.
I like the first one.
Listen, this week we're going to be talking about the power of preparation.
Preparation makes a massive difference.
It's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
You know,
People don't give it enough credit, though.
They really don't.
Oh.
And I understand the importance of preparation because of the times in my life where I had to shift.
Yeah.
I mean,
you had some big shifts.
Yeah, because, you know, I always say, Dr. Miles Monroe used to always say that difficulty, pain, discomfort is the catalyst for change. Mm-hmm. And when change comes, we're never prepared for it.
Yeah, that makes it painful.
But it doesn't mean we can't be prepared for it.
For a lot of things,
Yeah.
a lot of things can be prepared.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And in my case, we both went through that. We've
Yes.
gone through some
Jesus.
traumatic changes in our lives.
Yes.
For me, when my job closed, I was working at a company on the northwest side of Chicago, and I'd been there for like 17 years.
Wow.
All of a sudden,
Security. So you're thinking you have job security, right?
I used to literally say, "There's no way I have to worry about losing my job,"
How many
because
people think that?
they're going to always have to have these things that we make. Because I was a
Yeah.
machinist then at that
Yeah.
time. And I was making good money, working 10, 11 and a half hours a
You
day.
just had your life routine. I mean, 17
Oh
years,
my
that's a routine.
gosh, yeah. And all of a sudden, we're closing. What do you mean you're closing?
Oh, wow. What kind of notice did you have for that?
A couple of months.
That's not a lot after
It's not
17
a lot.
years.
It's not a lot. And there were people who, as I mentioned in my book, there were people there that were, they were immigrants from other countries.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them had migrated from the South in the 40s and the 50s.
Oh, wow.
Because this
Wow.
was in the 70s. So if they started the company, say 1945, 1975, 1985, they've been there 40 years. Some people were there 50 years at this company.
That's painful.
Because that's how it was in the manufacturing industry. It wasn't like
Once a booming industry.
Yeah. And it really shifted because it was right at the juncture when the information age started with computers.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I started, computers were these gargantuan,
These building size.
yeah, with the tape reels spinning back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, when the company closed, we literally went out into a new world.
An unknown world.
And what's really interesting.
Unprepared for a world.
Unprepared.
Yeah.
I had an advantage because I had 3 years of college. I was starting my senior year when I dropped out. So I didn't have a lot more to go to get my degree.
Okay.
But the fact was, a lot of people that I worked with, they didn't even finish high school. They didn't even get to go to high school.
Wow.
They came to Chicago because Chicago, Detroit, maybe New York, some other places, maybe Texas. There were places people could go and get jobs, raise their families, send their kids to college, buy a
security.
house. Yeah, especially in Detroit with the automotive industry.
Yeah.
But for me, it was really kind of traumatic because I walked out into a world I really didn't recognize, really, because when people may say, well, how did you not recognize that you were living in it every day? Well, the thing was, I worked nights.
Oh, wow.
And you work all those hours like I did. You sleep a good part of the day.
Yeah, and you take care of family.
You take care of your family.
Yeah.
And so, I went to the store. And at some point I was a single parent, and raising the kids. And so it was a challenge when that happened because you don't know what to do.
Yeah, you couldn't just go to another job and be a machinist because that industry was fading.
It was greatly reduced, but there were job shops that you could go to, that I could go to, because I was what's called a senior setter operator.
Okay.
I was at the top of the food chain. And so there were places.
So that would have made you more marketable in that dwindling industry.
Because I was good at what I did.
Okay.
I could read a blueprint, and you give me the blueprint, the cams, the tools. I could grind tools, grind drills, do all of that stuff. And but a lot of the majority of the people, they had compartmentalized jobs. Ooh. So it was very difficult for them to prepare for that.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't prepared. But once I left, I understood I've got to prepare myself to survive.
Yeah, you have kids, and
I got a mortgage, but
some people aren't even able to make that shift. I think a lot of people would just scramble to find something else at another company within the industry that they've worked in so long.
Yes. There was a certain mindset among certain people. Some people went and got trained. I ran into one lady. She went to school to learn to do makeup and hair for a mortuary.
You will always have a job with that.
That's what she went into.
Wow.
Yeah.
From the industry you're in?
Yeah. She went to school. I met her at the funeral of one of my cousins, my mother's cousins, really. They were more of a distant cousin, but they were a cousin nonetheless.
Yeah.
And I ran into her there, and she shared with me how some of the people that we used to work with, because of the stress of facing a new world, that they just passed away.
Wow.
And my concern, and this is why I pray every morning for people that are dealing with this COVID crisis, because
a lot of people have lost
there
jobs.
are industries that are shutting down.
Industries that you never thought they were recession proof.
Yeah. And it's scary.
It is.
And so this is why it's so important to be flexible, and being willing to prepare yourself to become or reinvent. Because that's what I had to do. I had to reinvent myself. When that company closed, I went back to school. I got my degree in theology. Well, I was working on my master's degree, and they said, oh, no. Because they were paying for my schooling. They were paying for it because the job closed because of foreign trade. So there was money available for all of us.
Yeah.
But a good many people didn't even finish high school.
So how are they going to go to college?
They don't have that. They're not accustomed to dealing with academia or being retrained.
Which is a world in and of itself.
It's a very different world from just getting up, going to work. You're sitting in one place doing one thing day after day. Yeah. Things you don't have to really think or be creative or adapt. You're just doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But I went back to school, and so I went to school. Once I got my bachelor's in theology, I signed up at. I had a choice between there was 3 schools for computer programming. There was DePaul, there was Northwestern, and another place, Computer Learning Center. So,
I remember that. The commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people there were getting jobs fairly quickly once they completed the program. But you had to get in. You had to qualify.
Yeah.
So there was no way I could prepare. And listen to what I'm saying here. This is what I'm sharing is vital, and you can use this in your life, if you're facing a downsized situation where you need to make a change, what I did was I was led to computers. I didn't know anything about a computer. I didn't know how to turn a computer on. Okay, so I took the test. It was an IBM aptitude test. You needed a 46 to pass. I never heard of a score of a 46.
Right, never.
Which is probably why I got a 48. I got a 48, but I got in.
You just got in.
I just got in. And so my counselor, who's a friend of mine to this day, now this is back in 1991, but the young lady that was my counselor, to this day, we still keep in touch.
Awesome.
You know, and
awesome.
You hear me talk about April all the time.
Yeah.
All right. So she said, well, Mr. Barnes, you just made it.
Yeah.
So I get in class. My first exam, I failed. I got an F. The next exam, I got an F. Now I'm getting nervous.
Yeah.
Okay.
You about to get kicked out.
I'm really getting nervous. And so I found a video called Where There's a Will, There's an A.
Good book.
I watched.
That's a good book to read.
It is.
Even if you're not in school, it has great life lessons in it.
And tools.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from reading that,
I forgot about that book.
Yeah, from that, I went out and bought me 2 tape recorders. I moved my seat from the back of the class to the front of the class.
That makes a difference.
Yeah, it did.
You're going to pay attention in the front.
Because I'm sitting in the back being cool.
Yeah.
Because remember,
not paying attention to nothing.
I'm 36, 37 years old at that time.
With kids, right?
With kids.
Yeah.
I'm in class with 17 and 18-year-olds.
Exactly.
And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know, and so.
But no, okay, so I want to go back a little bit because there are a lot of people. I don't think that's the norm now to stay at a job for 20, 30, 40 years, but there are some people who've been in their job a long time.
Yeah.
And they have the quote unquote security. What could you have done to prepare while you were a machinist? What could you have done where it wouldn't have been such a shock? I
think if I had been more...
Because you're busy. You got job, kids.
Yeah. If I had been more forward thinking, what I mean by that is open myself up to other possibilities. And I think I did that to a degree because I got into selling insurance for a period of time. You know, that helped me a lot because I had to study. And it got me back into studying.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. So you had some preparation.
Yeah, I did, but I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
Several guys that I worked with, they were real estate investors.
Okay.
They were making a killing in real estate back in, this was in 1990, 91. So like 89, 90, 90, they were buying real estate. They had multi-unit buildings.
That was the big time.
Yeah.
Big time for
one
that.
particular guy who was one of the guys to fix our machines, young guy. We found out he was buying up houses on the northwest side of Chicago for $20,000.
Oh, wow.
Rehabbing them and selling them for $200,000.
I was about to say.
Wait a minute. Those houses right now today, on that same street, in that same area, those homes sell for $400,000 and $500,000 right now.
Wow.
Back when I was there, they were $20,000.
Wow.
Now, had I been forward thinking, I would have joined with them on that, but I didn't. I didn't think that way.
And it's funny because I think, and we've all fell into this rut. Like, this is my life. I wake up, I do, my list. I do the things I need to do. I go to bed, I wake up, do the same thing. But like you said, you weren't, and working nights, which I don't think I would.
Working nights is rough.
I would never last at a job working nights.
It's rough.
But so that that's another way of keeping you out of touch. But like when I was I grew up in a certain industry that I won't name because it's a great industry.
Yeah.
But I noticed, thankfully, I survived a couple of layoffs, and I saw the devastation. So I'm a teenager, but I'm seeing the older people being laid off. They have family, they have bills, like you said, mortgage.
Yeah.
And they are devastated. And what I would hear, because you hear through the grapevine, where did so-and-so go? Oh, they ended up over here. Different company, same industry. Or someone would quit and they'd leave to go to same industry. So I was like, okay, it seems like the longer you stay here, the more you're pigeonholed into this industry.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I ain't like that. So I was like, I gotta go, because all I knew was computer input.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to do any programs or anything. And I was like, I don't want to do this. And they're like, well, you can go the next step up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I see people working really late, weekends. They don't, I'm a teenager, like late teens, early 20s. I'm trying to kick it.
Yeah.
So only because I think of my age and my desire to not be boxed in to this industry that I quit, because I wanted to make sure I stayed marketable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that saved me. But then, so when I was my first marriage, I didn't prepare at all for divorce, which you shouldn't do. But I didn't make sure I was the best Wendy. I didn't make sure I was the best Wendy personally or financially, which a lot of women do.
Well, let me ask you this. That's a good point, because when relationships end, now we both have been through that.
Yes.
When relationships come to an end, it's difficult, it's challenging, it's traumatic. You really don't think you don't go into it preparing to get out of it.
Right.
So it's very difficult to prepare for, but it's always a good idea, no matter what you go into. And this is what I learned when I finally got into real estate, to have 3 plans.
Okay.
You have an entry strategy, which is the acquisition, be it acquiring a mate, acquiring real estate, acquiring a business,
a job,
acquiring an education. Number 2, management strategy, managing that position while you're in it, managing that relationship,
that's good.
managing that second job, managing that business, managing going back to school, managing it. And then the exit strategy, because certain things come to an end. Some things come to an end. Now, in a relationship, you can go into it, you can prepare to acquire that relationship, you can manage it properly, but you can also think in terms of what if. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean somebody's going to be divorced, but what if someone passes away?
Which happens a lot.
What if sickness comes?
Yeah.
And so I realized that once I got through that shift in my life, well, I wound up, make a long story short, when I graduated from the computer programming situation, myself and another guy, this guy was so good. He was really good. He was a programmer. He could type extremely fast. I wasn't a great typer.
Yeah.
I sat at the typing tutor, Wendy, many an evening, because I would
get
get
a tutor.
No, a typing tutor. It was in the PC.
Oh wow, okay.
And I would sit there and work on that thing, trying to get better at I just didn't have it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe I need to get past this.
You do a mean two finger.
I get it done. But this guy, he really typed well, and Sears hired him before he even graduated. They grabbed him up.
Because he had the knowledge and the speed.
He had the speed. He grasped COBOL, assembly language, C language. He grasped it quick, as did I. We both were straight A students. I graduated with a 4.0. He didn't even graduate. He left. Sears hired him right off the bat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And so, as a matter of fact, they used to look at me and try to figure, who is this guy? He's getting grades like us. Now, who is this old guy that's getting these grades?
Because that's what they think. Like, what the?
Yeah. And even though I didn't look old, I looked much older than them.
They know, though.
But they knew. But I wore a suit and tie every day.
Oh, yeah. That means
I wore a suit and tie every day.
Yeah.
Young ladies, James, we going out and have drinks. I said, you going out and have drinks? We paying $7,000 a semester and you going out to drink? You must be out your mind. I got work to do.
That's what they do.
I would get to the campus at 7:30 a.m. I would leave at 7:30 p.m. every day.
But see, you had
a work ethic.
Something they didn't know, because as young people, you don't think about that, but you hadn't been through where you were literally on your face, like, I need to do something. So you had a different respect.
I did.
For what you were, the opportunity you were given.
Yes.
Whereas, you come out of high school, you go and learn something and you do something else. So they weren't there yet.
Right. But
I bet you a number of those students remember you. Like, there was this guy.
Probably.
Like, because I
ran into a young lady.
Yeah.
Her name, I forgot her name. We ran into her at a conference or something. She said, James Barnes, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He got me through COBOL, girl.
See?
If it hadn't been for him, I wouldn't have made it because I was a tutor.
Yeah.
Me, who got 40, I got a 40.
You just barely got in.
I got in by 3 points.
Yeah.
But they remembered me. I ran in, and it had to be 20 years, 25 years later.
Yeah.
She remembered me.
Yeah.
But my point is this, that when I got employment, after I finished, graduated, finished, had a job lined up with the state as a programmer analyst, I selected a job at a different company instead because I didn't trust the state.
Oh, wow. I don't know why you would.
I didn't trust the state.
Why you would have that.
But what I did was I went into that place with a different mindset.
Yeah.
My mindset was be prepared.
Not catch me again.
Get prepared.
Yeah, stay
You're
ready.
not gonna. No.
You got to stay ready.
I started working in real estate finance, and I did that for almost almost 20 years. I did that. Yeah. I did that from 1998 to 2017, so 19 years.
Yeah.
I worked in that industry, and I only left because I wanted to write. And
you left because you wanted to.
Yeah, and my wife was.
That's a big difference.
It is, and my wife was urging me to finish the book, my first book, and which I'm so glad she did. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I'll write that down. I got more points.
Because you did that, it opened up so many other things for us.
Yeah.
A whole different world.
Yeah.
This studio we got now, we wouldn't have had this.
Had we not had a flood.
If we hadn't had the flood, and we had a vision.
Yeah.
But
the prepared part too, though, is, speaking of the flood, we had insurance.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't buy into the insurance, and I don't know because I only know our culture, but I know culturally we don't necessarily buy into the insurance thing. Like when you have a mortgage, they make you. I know with a car you need it, but I've known people who have wrapped their cars around a pole with no insurance, and still have a car note.
Yeah,
they don't just say, "Oh, you don't have the car anymore." Okay, well, no, they want you to still pay for that.
Yeah. That's a very,
or even just being transparent. I'm just good at listening to people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a people watcher, and I'm good at listening.
You're gonna learn.
I'm gonna learn from you.
Yeah. And
I met someone who told me stories of people who had insurance through their jobs, like life insurance.
Yeah.
Say they got laid off or they were fired, and then something happened to them. That insurance stopped as soon as your employment stopped.
Yeah.
So now what? So when the children were smaller, I insured my children. And people don't want to say, well, I don't want my kids. It's important because when Paige passed, we were able to pay. That was the least of our worries. Like we were able to grieve.
Yeah.
Go through that process without having that additional burden or worry of how we're going to pay for it.
That is a burden.
It's a huge burden.
Yeah.
So that's part of preparation, though.
It is. Preparation takes on so many different things. And it's important to look at our lives and make an honest assessment of where we are and where we desire to go. And don't procrastinate, because procrastination, what was that thing you read that...
luck is opportunity meeting... Preparation meeting opportunity.
Luck is preparation meeting opportunity.
Yeah, so it's not really luck.
Okay, it's not really... Yeah, because when we put off the process of preparation, that's procrastination. You're putting it off. And it's not good to do, especially when you have something inside of you that's urging you to go and do thus and so.
And you hear people all the time say, I want to
something
write a book.
Told me.
I want to do this. Yeah, I'm going to do this one day. What's wrong with today? getting started.
Well, remember, then.
That do it now.
Do it now. And that's something you
Matthew
taught
hates
me.
that.
But I learned that from you.
Yeah.
And it has been a blessing to me because I can't even count the number of times that I executed then, which is do it now. Mm-hmm. I even put it in the book, then.
Yeah.
And a lady commented.
That makes a difference.
She wrote me and commented, I'm doing then like Wendy said.
It makes a difference. Because it's so easy to be like, okay, I'll do it later.
It is. It's so easy.
But then later something else has something, but you didn't put something else off, so now you got to do what came up later with what you put off for later. Mm-hmm. That's a problem.
Takes more time, more effort.
Why put off today why put off tomorrow what you can do today?
And what is that? An ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those old sayings.
Those aren't just, cliches. They really.
Somebody learned that.
Yeah.
Somebody went through that and learned it.
And so because the way I am, you learned it.
They learned it the hard way.
I'm going to hear what you said.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just go forward.
Yeah. So that honest assessment is I looked at myself when my company closed. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, I could have gone to a job shop and ran Davenport's. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I literally said, I don't want to be in that oil anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. And my desire was so strong. So it's important that your desire, not only that's in your heart, that it comes out of your mouth. Mm-hmm. I want to do something else. I desire to be something else.
And you had so many things that I guess a lot of people didn't take advantage of or couldn't. You had no reason to say no. They had the money there for you to go.
Yeah.
To pay for school. You didn't have to worry about that. And then you knew the industry that was starting to come about. But then it's also indicative of how you felt about yourself. I'm going to go do this. You didn't have to think about am I smart enough?
Oh,
I don't know.
Let me tell you what I did. Just so I don't come off as Mr. I got it all together. A friend of mine recommended me to a company, and the company contacted me for me to come there, fill out the application, take the entrance test and all of that. This is before I went back to school.
Okay.
I said, "Ooh, I got a job already. Wow." It was paying less than half of what I was making. Because when you figure in the overtime, it was a third of what I was making, but it was a job.
Yeah.
Because I'm
and
still.
And that would be easy for you to be like, I'm just going to go
I'm still
here.
thinking job. Mm-hmm. I'm not thinking about building or creating or expanding who I was.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking small. I went to that place. Some people tried to half kill me. I said, okay.
For way less money.
Way less money. So I said, okay, show me where the highest paying job in this company is. Mm-hmm. They took me and showed me where those guys were working. And I declare, it reminded me of an Indiana Jones movie.
What was it, sweetheart?
It was a glass blowing factory where they actually blew the glass.
It was hot, a little warm.
It was chilly outside. It was early spring. It was like April. Mm-hmm. So it was still cold out, actually. I went up in there. It was 100 and some degrees. And these guys was just sweating, and there's just fire everywhere.
Oh, wow.
It made me realize I don't want to go to hell.
Yeah.
Because it was a horror movie.
Wow.
I said, I don't want to do this.
And people did this every day, all day.
They did it every day. But I worked there 4 days, and it was a swing shift rotating days. So you work.
You just lost me
You
with
work
that.
days, afternoons, or nights.
Whatever they tell you to
7 to 3, 3 to 11, or 11 to 7. And you may work Monday through Friday, and you work Wednesday through Tuesday, and then you work Tuesday through Monday. Oh, my gosh.
No.
I quit. I'm not doing this. I can't do this. I'm going back to school.
How long did you stay there?
4 days. Oh. I lasted 4 days.
You were smart enough to not. Yeah.
I lasted 4 days.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not doing this. I'm going back to school. I went back to school.
Yeah.
And that's when I went back, got my degree, and I went to the computer program. And once I started at the district, I worked there. I got promoted and moved up there because I realized thinking small will keep you small.
Wow. And that's a good way to end our segment because we're about to.
Yep.
We're about to go to commercial.
Yeah, we're going to go to a break right now, but stay tuned. We got some more wisdom to share on preparation on this week's broadcast of JW Fusion.
We'll be back.
We'll be right back. Looking for God, look no further, look within. Available now in Kindle and paperback on Amazon.com. Order yours today.
You're listening to JW Fusion with your hosts, James and Wendy B.
And we're back. JW Fusion, we're talking about the power of preparation.
Yes, preparation, it expands across so many categories.
It covers so much. And you know what? Preparation makes your life so much easier.
Yes.
I know when I was an environmental specialist, when I was doing mortgages, all of those things, the key to success in what I was doing was preparation.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing a loan, you prepare to meet that client. When I'm doing a water quality study as an environmentalist, you have to prepare the paperwork. You have to prepare the test equipment you're going to use. You prepare everything. You test it, make sure it works. All of that enables you to do a better job.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're dealing with this remote learning.
Oh, Jesus.
And you have found how important preparation is for you.
Yeah, because I am loopy in the morning, just being nice. I don't care what time I go to bed, I'm loopy in the morning. And you've seen it. Like if I'm going out to run, I come back and forth about 4 or 5 times because I've forgotten something. But if I prepare as far as laying out my clothes, both workout clothes and quote unquote school clothes, because I have to be in front with Christian.
Yeah.
Then I'm smoother. I noticed that because we talked about that before, and I was like, you know what? I do come back and forth 15 times, delaying me about 20, 30 minutes before I leave. So I start preparing, but especially with Christian being home, I'm used to just getting him ready and sending him on. Then I can go about my day. But because my day is so much more regimented with him being home, I literally lay out his clothes. If it's going to be the morning for his bath stuff is laid out. Everything is laid out. I think it's funny because I lay every little thing helps. So I'll lay his diaper out where it's open, right? Because diapers come folded. Like I don't want to bother that. And you changed his diaper one morning, and I was going, like, what? I got to open that diaper. It doesn't make sense, but it's every little thing.
But see, I didn't know your system yet.
Yeah, well,
remember,
I talked to you.
Like we had the bag you had the bag already in the wastebasket.
Yes.
But I didn't know about the system.
Yeah.
So when you explained that, I said, oh, okay.
Like you can use it, but I need you to open up another diaper.
I had to get in line, But
even get his meds together the night before so you don't have to worry about drawing them up the morning of.
Yeah.
Every little thing helps. So most school mornings are very smooth for me because I can just go. I have everything I can do the night before, including making my smoothie, put it in the refrigerator, his meds, his clothes, everything. The towel that I put on the back of his chair, so if he drools, I can wipe it. Like everything is put together.
Yeah.
And then when I work out, I come home, I know what I'm going to wear.
Yeah.
And I'm good for changing my mind. Well, you can't change your mind.
Change your mind.
This is what you're wearing for the day because you got to keep it moving.
Yeah.
But that's preparation.
It is.
Right?
And you know what it does? Preparation eliminates unnecessary stress. Now, there's some stress we can't avoid.
Right.
Because it's outside of us.
Yeah.
But the stress we can manage are the things we can prepare for.
Yes.
When we prepare, like for instance, when we get ready to do our broadcast, there's certain things I do to be sure that certain things are in order so we don't run into manageable stressful situations.
Because that makes it worse. That's the worst stress.
It is.
Because you just manage yourself. I could have done this.
I wouldn't
have to worry about that.
Oh, my gosh.
You know?
I mean, nobody can beat you. I learned this from you. Really learned it from you. Nobody can beat Wendy up better than Wendy.
I'm queen of it.
And I'm very good at criticizing me. Oh, my gosh. So one way to avoid that, to eliminate that, or to avoid it, to reduce it, minimize it, is through preparation. And you have to look at yourself and say, okay, I'm slow in the mornings.
Yeah.
Now, if you know you have a problem with being late, then you need to do some preparation before.
Yeah.
If you know you have a problem with, if you have a task you have to get done, and you're slower than everybody else on your team, then you need to start your task earlier.
Right.
And work on it maybe after hours.
Yeah. And even for me, like I said, like I do not play when I say I watch other people. If I see that you're better at me than something, and I think I can glean something from what you know, I'm going to ask, okay, how do you do that? You know, how do you, I can't do this. How do you do that?
Yeah.
And then hopefully you have something that I can use.
Yeah. We all can learn. Okay. Let me share this right here.
As he throws his hands up.
the 4 levels of mastery. Number 1 is discipline. You do something over and over and over again till you master it. It's true for tennis. It's true for
running.
Running. It's true for golf ball. The more golf balls you hit, the better you get at it. The more tennis balls you hit, the better you get at it. The more you cycle, the more you run. The more baskets you shoot, the better you get at it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's discipline. Number 2 is wisdom. Wisdom is what you just said. You learn from someone else's action.
Yes.
You learn from a coach or a mentor what they've been through.
Right.
That's number 2. Number 3 is do what you love and love what you do. When you're doing what you love and you love what you do, you are excellent at it because you can't wait to do it.
And it makes the first 2 easier.
It does. It does.
To discipline yourself for something that you can't stand doing
is very difficult.
You're never going to get to 2 or 3 or 4 because you're going to keep dropping number 1.
And you're not going to think about asking somebody.
No.
You're going to ask, how can I get out of this?
Yes.
And the 4th is surrender.
Explain that.
Surrender is spiritual. When you are surrendering to the Creator's plan for you, the Creator's ability that's in you. When you surrender to God's love for you and His grace and His ability that is in each and every one of us, we have God's ability in us. That's why I have a desire to inspire and motivate people.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I can't help it.
Yeah.
I do it at work constantly.
Yeah.
Everywhere I've ever worked, people say, I love talking to James.
Yeah.
When I was a teenager, I was like that. I couldn't help it. And I was no good at talking to girls my age because my mindset was so much more mature than the average 15, 16-year-old.
Yeah.
But I would talk to grown men and women, and they would say, wow, you're
mature for your age.
Yeah, you're very mature for your age. You know, some old folks used to say, you've been here before.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I'm going to give God the credit for this. A good way to prepare your children as they go through life, the decisions that they make, the person they end up becoming, is part of you. You're preparing them by them watching you. So you got to try and stay in line.
Ooh, that's good.
The way they see you grow up. I know, the adults I grew up around, I kind of went in that direction until I realized some of them was not in the right direction. But a good way to prepare your kids, you're thinking that you're feeding them, you're clothing them, you're sending them to school and giving them the best life. Yeah. They're watching you.
That's
true. So to prepare your children to be the best at who they are supposed to be is by being your best.
Yes.
You know, like I saw my mom work, and she didn't have time because she had to work. She didn't have time to go to the awards assemblies or the sports events that I did. So I thought that's what I was supposed to do. You know, we grew up, you grow up, you go to school, you get a job, you stay there and you retire and die.
Yeah.
But this is not that world anymore.
It's not.
And it changed kind of when I was in it because I was seeing people getting laid off and being devastated. And I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. We were in that phase when our economy or our society was shifting from manufacturing to information here in the United States. We moved from a country that manufactured or made things.
Yeah.
We don't make much anymore.
No.
We handle the information and data regarding those things that have been made, but we don't make much anymore.
Right.
And so we both experienced that turnover, that shift of what happened from that. And so, like you were saying, I really didn't see a person that was an example of being able to think in terms of being creative and going out into the world and building something. I saw work hard.
Yeah.
You know, I saw my stepfather. He was a very hard-working guy. I used to watch him working, and I took on that style of work when I got a job.
He prepared you
because,
to be that type of person.
Yeah, I had that pit bull work my butt off mentality, and because I had to have that because I went to school full time, and I worked 8 hours a night doing physical labor at night.
Yeah.
And I did it Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And I still went to school full time.
He instilled that work ethic, and so
it
that's
wasn't
what parents don't get.
And it really wasn't something he instilled. I observed it.
But that's part of it.
It is.
That's how
I
kids
absorbed
learn.
it. It is. You're right. You're right.
What is the parents often said? Don't do what I do. Do as I say.
Yeah. Don't do what I do, but do as I say.
What you
we're
do.
looking at what you do.
Yeah. So you're not necessarily consciously saying I'm preparing my child, but I know Matthew has seen me handle change without losing my mind. He's seen me be stressed, but then I'm just like, okay, what can I do? Because this is happening. I got to do something about this. And he, in turn, is a better person at handling change. I mean, none of us like it, but change is constant.
Change is stressful.
Yeah. But the more prepared you are, can you imagine my mornings if I didn't do anything the night before?
Yeah.
The boy would never show up for remote learning.
You know what? I'm going to tell you a key to handling change, and that is prayer and meditation. Those two things enable you to accomplish so much because ideas come. Well, somebody may say, well, what is prayer? What is meditation? What does that mean? Those are foreign words to me. Well, prayer means that you're talking to your Creator. You're expressing how you feel to your Creator. Now, whether that's with words, some people pray silently. God can still hear what you pray within your heart.
Yes.
He listens to what's in your heart more so than what's on your mind.
Prayer. Yeah.
And and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people just moan and groan. The Bible says that the Spirit of God interprets our groans. The prayers that we're unable to put into words. We have something that's bothering us, something that's weighing on us, something that's weighing us down, but we don't know how to put it into words.
Yeah.
God
knows that though.
He can interpret what you're saying inside. And then meditation is when you wait quietly for the Lord to lead you, to speak to you.
Yes.
Now, it could be through another person. It could be you could be sitting watching television, and then you're watching a movie, and then something happens in that movie, and you just bust out crying. Yeah. And you're like, that's me. Yeah. And it's what you had talked to God about, and it's right there in front of you. Yeah. I actually literally had an alcoholic, and I've talked about this before. The kids and I were going back to church one Sunday evening, and we're going to get in the car. It was in the summer. And so we're about to get in the car, and this guy who was he was drunk. He was very drunk. And he's walking down the street, and he he did a sharp turn. He didn't look at me. He just made a sharp turn. And I seen him staggering. He's just staggering. And I'm like, what is this guy up to?
Right.
You know, and I got on the suit. He got on the suit. I'm like, I got on the suit. I'm like, I don't want to have to fight in my suit.
Yeah. Yeah, because
you know?
you're instantly on guard with that.
You know. And so he walks up, he points at me and says, you got big money. He turns around and walks back in another direction that he was not headed before.
Wow.
And I was like, wow.
I had a doctor do that to me, my primary doctor. We were talking about something, you know, whatever the appointment was about, and all of a sudden her eyes start kind of going side to side. And I'm like, is she all right? Is she having a seizure? What's she doing? And as her eyes kept moving, she goes, there's greatness in you. You haven't reached your potential yet. And I'm like, is that in the chart? What is she doing?
Is it in my x-ray?
Yeah, I'm like, what did the test come back? What happened?
Right.
I mean, so it was maybe a minute or two that happened.
Yeah.
And then she came back. She was like, yeah, I just felt that came over me to tell you that. And I was like, what in the world?
Now, I'll tell you what's interesting. When that happens and a person that says it says, and you ask, why did you say that? Why did I say what?
Yeah.
That's the one.
It was the eyes.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
Like, what is wrong with her?
And now, people, I believe that our God, our Creator, He uses people to speak to us, to bless us. Because the Bible talks about, give and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, running over, shall men give into your bosom. People always think that's money. It may not be money. It may be wisdom. It may be insight. It
might be something more powerful than money.
Money is at the bottom of the list of the 7 streams of revenue, as I've talked about ad infinitum.
Yeah.
There's at the very top of the list of the 7 items that generate revenue, which is income. Number 1 is wisdom. You got wisdom, vision, knowledge and its application, a good name, relationships. Then you have land and investments, and number 7 is money.
Yeah.
It's last.
Yes.
If you got the first 6.
So you're focusing on the last and you're missing.
If you get the first 5, if you have the first 5,
the other will come.
The other 2 will come.
Yeah.
I've experienced it. I've lived it.
Yeah.
I bought real estate. I didn't have no money. I bought millions of dollars in real estate. I didn't have no money.
Yeah.
But I had a good name. I had relationships with the people selling it, you know. And so, and it applies to every aspect of our lives. I believe relationships and faith are the 2 greatest currencies we can possibly possess.
Faith
now,
has
wisdom,
gotten me through so much.
you know, wisdom is awesome. Vision is tremendous, but the actual currency, faith, and having a good relationship with people, having a good name will generate the relationships.
Yeah,
having a
every
good
time.
name. And again, it goes back to preparation. How are you living? Remember what show was that? How you living? Live in Color. You remember In Living Color?
Yeah. Oh gosh, love that show.
How you living?
Yeah.
How you living? In Living Color. Right.
Yeah.
All right. So, how are you living? How are you What are you sowing into other people's lives? That is another form of preparation.
That doesn't always mean money too.
It does not mean money. It's sowing.
People immediately want to go to money.
No, it's sowing love, joy, peace, gentleness, goodness, kindness, favor, time. We talked about last week how love is spelled Time.
Yeah. You
right?
spend that time.
Yes. So, in getting prepared for the shift that we're facing, I have spent my mornings, I'm up early for prayer. And the days I don't feel like it, I wake up and as you say, I'm loopy. No, you say you're loopy?
Yeah, I'm very loopy.
I'm loopy and droopy. and now some mornings I can get up at 3 o'clock, 2:30, get up and pray.
Without the alarm.
Without the alarm.
Yeah,
I'll get up. And other days, if you had a rough day before, your body's tired.
Yeah.
You get up, you know you need to go. You need to pray. You need that meditation time. You need that because you need that input. Like the other morning, I got up. I thought I was going to pray, and I just meditated. And the Lord he told me to prepare He said, "You prepared for what you've been asking for? As have you prepared for it?" I'm like, you know, and then he began to show me the areas where I wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
Then he gave me to write down, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, the list of things that I needed to be to have in place, to be aware of, to have set up, to be able to handle properly what he has for us.
Yeah.
Because our desire with Life Imagined and with JW Fusion is to inspire the world to imitate God, to inspire the entire world to have a desire to act like God, think like God, behave like God, have the faith that God intended for humanity to have, to behave as the species He created us to be, not what we become or degenerated into. That is my vision, and it's going to take a lot of wisdom, a lot of vision, a lot of knowledge and its application, a lot of good relationships. It's going to take a lot of money to do that. And so...
But those relationships, I don't think people give it the weight that it needs, because part of your preparation is your circle and the people who are around you. The wind beneath your wings. It's all of that. So people think preparation is, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. No, it's not always that like that. There are things that you need to do, of course, but then incorporating other people's wisdom, incorporating other people's experiences. And as you keep those, as you nurture those relationships and they become solid and you build upon it, then you're building a massive network of people who think like you do, who help you be better.
You know what? Andrew Carnegie, one of the wealthiest men, the man I believe is most responsible for the positive thought, the positive mindset movement that we're experiencing right now, because he gave wisdom to Napoleon Hill to write the book, Think and Grow Rich. And they had the mastermind coalition principle. Andrew Carnegie said, Henry Ford also said that I'm not a brilliant man, but I know how to gather brilliant men to think and to do the ideas that I come up with and to execute them.
That's so smart.
And so it's not so much you being able to do everything.
And it's your ego.
It is ego.
You got to come up off the ego.
You know what ego means?
Edging God out.
Edging God out.
Yes.
Thank you. That's exactly what it is. And when you edge God out,
I want to be the big man on campus to say I did this. Okay.
When you have that desire, you wind up standing on a street corner somewhere with your pants down around your ankles. You know, your butt's out for all the world to see. You know, and your be it whatever it is, your butt's out because you, in your pride, your arrogance, were not willing to surrender.
Yes.
See,
so good.
That surrender to how God wants to do things. And so I took that and I wrote down everything he said. And so, you know, I'm big on taking notes.
Yes, he's a phenomenal note taker.
So it's vital as you prepare for this shift that we're dealing with, that your mindset is prepared to be open to however, whatever opportunity. You don't know what opportunities, because opportunity doesn't say, hey, I'm coming tomorrow.
Never. I wish it did.
You don't get a letter,
a postcard or something.
You don't get a phone call.
I'll be here next week, you know.
You don't get a text message. You don't get it. Don't show up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. It does not. You look up and, whoa, there's opportunity. I told you the story of my friend that he had started a business, one of those, I think it's a multi-level marketing thing or something he was doing. And he desired to meet a certain gentleman that he felt could help him with his business. And he talked about it. Yeah, I'm going to meet so-and-so. I'm going to connect with him and it's going to be awesome. He kept saying this and believing it and expecting it, and it happened. And when it happened, he was ill prepared, and he's standing there with his tongue stuck to the roof of his mouth, unable. When the man said, "Tell me about your business," he was, well, see, it's like your time's up.
Yeah. And sometimes if you're not prepared, sometimes opportunity will have come and gone. And you wouldn't even, you don't even recognize it.
You may recognize it when somebody else has grabbed your opportunity and they're running down the street with it. You know, one thing I learned from Lisa Nichols is when someone asks you what you do, don't talk about what you do. Talk about the results of what you do. As a result of what we do, people are inspired. They're motivated. They believe that they can do the impossible. They believe that nothing shall be impossible to them that they have imagined to do. As a result of what Life Imagined does, people's lives are prepared with the tools they need to be the best version of themselves, to live an extraordinary life. As a result of what we do, these are the things that happen.
Yes.
So if anybody ever asks me,
you ready?
I'm ready.
Because
I'm prepared. I'm prepared.
So preparation, it goes across every category of our lives.
Every aspect.
Every aspect.
Everything that we do, from combing our hair.
If you didn't go buy a comb, you're not prepared to comb your hair.
If you don't have toothpaste and a good toothbrush,
don't come to me.
If you don't put gas in your car, you're not preparing to go to work. You're not maintaining your automobile. You're not spending time with your children. Spending time.
It makes a difference.
Do you know there's times that I want to, or I know I need to go work on something, but I'm like, no. I look at you. You may be sitting in the family room with Christian, or Christian may be in the bed and you're sitting there, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to let this moment right here go away. I am not going to let that happen. That is preparing and building a healthy relationship in the future.
And I prepare people around me.
Okay.
I'm going to go.
That's good.
Because I need to go spend time with my husband.
That's good. Now, see, talk about preparing people for your answers.
Yeah, people know. If we're in a meeting, okay, y'all know Wendy has to leave because her and her husband pray at this time. Like, you talk about it. People want to be secretive. Listen, I'm going to spend time with my husband. That's not my business what you do with your spouse. I'm going to spend time with him, so I have to go. We can talk tomorrow while he's at work, or we can talk later. But this is a time we haven't spent time together because we've been like two ships passing during the day. I need to go. So you had to, I mean, Matthew, like I would tell Matthew, like, okay, so I gotta go. I've spent this time with you. I've given you time. I have to give time to my husband because in a marriage situation, he comes first.
You know what? There was a story told by Florence Scovel Shinn, who wrote the book, The Game of Life and How to Play It, and Your Word is Your Wand, and some other powerful books. Back in 1925, she wrote this book. And she told the story of a woman who, she was married, and she said, I don't care anything about marriage. I mean, I'm married, and I really don't even think about my husband until I see him.
Wow.
I don't have time for that. I don't really care about being married. One day he came home and said, I've fallen in love with another woman. I'm leaving you.
She was devastated.
Then she was devastated.
Yeah.
And the woman, and Miss Scovel Shinn told her, said, you did that. You created that. You created that stew. You sowed that seed.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So what you've done, conversely, you have prepared with your decision, and you prepared people not to give you no grief. Say, well, our meeting's not done. For me, it is.
For me, it is. I'm gone.
And even before we got married, we prepared with 18 months of counseling.
Yes. It was not always easy.
No, because I had to deal with my trunk of stuff, and you had a little bit. Oh, babe, our time has gotten away from us again.
Always.
Listen, we trust that what we've shared this week has been a blessing to you. And until next, it's been a joy. I've enjoyed this.
This was a good conversation.
It was. Preparation. Hope somebody was blessed. Yes.
Prepare something.
Yes. Listen, until next week, allow God's grace to continue to flow in your life as a mighty river. Be blessed.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to JW Fusion with your hosts, James and Wendy B.